Hi, Niels from Black Dragon Forge. Another workshop tip for you. Basically what this boils down to is how I stain my sheaths. Okay, now we've got 6 small sheaths here for 6 small hunters, and basically they all need to be stained. Okay, so what I've got here is a nice big, this is I believe a 8 litre bucket. Okay, nice and big one. I have got about a half a litre of SP dark brown dye. It's from a manufacturer called Leatherite in Pretoria, Silverton specifically, Pretoria, South Africa, and it is a spirits based dye. Okay, but I found that any dye actually works. You can go as far as to use wood dock, which is a wood stain, that works as well. And then I've got my drying rack, very innovative. I actually saw this from another Knifemaker. It's a piece of wood with dowel sticks stuck into it. Okay, and as you can see, this one gets quite a lot of use. But now let's get cracking. Basically what I'm doing is, and this is a little piece of cloth, cotton, paraphernalia. I've got a trough to actually put my leather back or my dye back in there, different other types of dyes, and then an old mug for if I need to scoop dye up and actually put into a sheath, but more applicable to when I do the larger sheath. But anyways, all your tools are laid out nice and orderly fashion, so you actually see what's going on, and without having to turn around and look for something just after you've put it down. And then the most important thing, the rubber gloves. Okay, latex gloves. I know there's a lot of guys allergic to latex, so find something else. Alright, what I found works better than these are those yellow gloves that kitchen staff actually use. They come up quite high, it's a bit of a thicker rubber, and you can use those as well. But if you've got any leather dye on you, get it on your skin, just hot soapy, lukewarm soapy water and a bit of elbow grease, and there you go, it'll come off. Without gloves, you'll end up walking around with dark brown hands for quite a couple of days. So let's get cracking. How do I do this? Obviously my sheath, I hold it tip down into my bucket, take my leather dye and actually pour it in there. So I fill it up, take the next one, take that and pour it through into the third one, drop that one in, and so forth. So basically what I'm doing is I'm colouring the leather on the inside, and obviously through repetitive use, the leather actually drawing up the dye, putting it into it, you'll get less and less and less dye. So there we go, that one 2, let's see if I can do a third one. I dart it, there we go, dart it. So pour that one in there, and then I start just coating my leather. Okay, now this is very little dye. I normally fill this one up quite deep, but that's enough for this exercise. Let it soak up the dye, turn it all around, and hopefully you can actually see in here. If you can't, well, let's move this down there, move this up, and there you go. So now what I do is I schloss them around because I've got very little dye in there. Okay, but normally I'll fill this up to about there. Okay, so 3/4 of the way, so you can actually get this in there. But it works well if you're doing a lot of sheaths. But now that is fairly cool. If I've got a stubborn spot on there where the dye doesn't seem to go in because of the hammering, take my cloth, wet it, and then just rub the sheath. Okay, and also dry it out, and then rub off all the excess stain, and then put it on the drying rack. There we go. Yes, you do mess a lot with this, so that's why the newspaper's down there. So who said knife making isn't educational? Well, not knife making, leather work. So there we go, rub the excess off, and I put it on the drying rack, or them on the drying rack, and just until the leather has actually soaked up the excess dye, and that one there has got quite a bit of dripping, so let's just take that off. And once it's completely soaked in, I don't know if you can tell from there, but the first one there is already soaked in. As soon as they're all soaked in, they go get either placed in my drying rack, which we'll get a video on later, not now, which is humidity controlled, and well, I say humidity controlled, temperature controlled, not humidity. There we go. Although I've got a glass of water in there, just so it keeps the humidity up. But anyway, there we go. That now just sits there until all the excess dye is actually pulled into the leather or absorbed into the leather, if you've got excess like that, I just like to rub it off just to get an equal finish or even finish. Alrighty, and once that's done, then I let them dry. How long does it take to dry? Well, this one here will dry to the touch without staining you within about 15 minutes. Okay, but to completely dry, I like to soak them, let them sit in sun, either full sun or artificial light with a bit of a heat for at least 48 hours. Okay, well that is it. To get this back into my container, take your little frothy, go there, and just pour it back in. As easy as that. Okay, now a lot of guys actually asked me, while I was teaching my last class, you guys asked me whether I actually clean out the inside of this. No, I do not. For the sheer fact that I stain at least once every 2 days. So that just goes in there, Loppy goes in there, and there we go. That now just gets wiped off on the sides and goes back into the cupboard where they all live. Alright, well that was it. Sheaths. Quick and easy way of staining your sheaths. There you go. I hope you can see them. I'm not going to touch them again because my gloves are wet. And there we go. So he's going to sit there for about another 5 minutes and then we'll move them outside. Have fun, enjoy, and remember to share. And even wearing gloves, have a look at that. Okay, so I'm going to be off washing my hands. Have fun, enjoy, remember to share, subscribe to the channel, and tell your mates. Cheers.